Hey, 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 everybody. Hey, hey, hey. So, we are about 2 weeks into National Breastfeeding Month, and I'm just back with a reintroduction. So, I'm out for my morning walk, and I just want to talk about being an advocate in the maternal health space, especially around breastfeeding and lactation, and the type of commitment that it takes to keep things like this going. So it's been about 10 years, 11 years that I've been in this space as an advocate, and so many things have happened during that time, not only in this movement, but also in just the space of my life and supporting families and trying to really figure out my place in it all. I want to go all the way back to 2014 because when I launched this movement, it was primarily because a mom had been kicked out of a movie theater for breastfeeding her baby. And I just thought that can't be possible, right? And as a photographer, I thought, well, I have a breastfeeding story to share. I breastfed 3 babies and I can share, I can add to this. But when I first clicked on the hashtag Normalize Breastfeeding, which I did not create, this is actually a concept that's been going strong since the 70s in the La Leche League space. So shout out to them. But when I clicked that hashtag and saw that moms were being discriminated against for feeding their babies in public, I saw that this was something that needed to be talked about. And when I looked around on other pages, other photographers and other breastfeeding pages that were using this hashtag, it seemed to be that there was just really no diversity that was being shown. And that was concerning to me because, you can look at the pamphlets and you can look at the books, and, a mom like me, I can look at this educational material and it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't resonate, right? Hey guys, thanks for joining in the comments. So I started to see that we needed to make some expansions around really trying to create some diversity and resonate with more folks who look like us, and that would help to increase our numbers, because I don't know if y'all know the statistics, but Black women probably had the lowest breastfeeding rate in all of the country, and also the highest maternal death rate, and also the highest infant mortality rate. And if you know anything about breastfeeding, you'll know that it protects moms from maternal mortality, and it protects babies from infant mortality. So this was a huge deal for me personally, and I felt like it was something that I needed to really pursue. And interestingly enough, when I clicked on that hashtag, the first thing I saw was a pornographic post. And I thought, this can't be what people are really using this hashtag for, right? And I went down the rabbit hole and found out that there's like a whole fetish behind it, that there's all kinds of different stuff. There's so many different people using the hashtag for the wrong reasons. And sorry about the noise, I'm walking kind of near a road area, so there will be some cars. But I started to see that this was something that, needed to be addressed. And so I started posting videos and images on my business page for photography and lost over 100 followers. And that was the moment that I knew that this was bigger than just taking pictures and sharing stories. So I started the Normalize Breastfeeding Facebook page, and the rest is history. Interestingly enough, when I started that page, I really had no clue what I was doing. And the vision was just to share my story and try to protect breastfeeding for my daughter, who will one day be a mom, hopefully. And I just really wanted to create a safe space for her to be able to have a nursing journey in the future. And so I did that. I created the page, and I have to say this because it's so crucial to my story. But I had to literally pray about, what am I going to share? If you can't hear me, let me know in the comments. I had to pray about I'm reading the comment. Maybe when you're able to take care of people's all colors instead of focusing on color, then we'll all care about you too. That's cute. So I care about everybody, and you can see that across all of the social platforms. You can see that across all of my photography. But being the founder of this movement, it is important to me that the women who have the highest disparities and the highest mortality, like, women are literally dying, okay? Dying because they're not breastfeeding their babies. And you can feel how you want to feel about it, but at the end of the day, I'm the one who chose to stand in this space. I'm the one who chose to stand in the gap for these families. And my story matters to these families. And it matters also to the providers. And something that I started to see was that the reason why a lot of these women of color were not being supported was because of the messaging and because of the lack of diversity in the marketing. So thank you. I don't care if you care about me. I'm here doing my job. This is my purpose. This is why my creator put me here, and I'm doing what I got to do. So thank you for your comment, but doesn't matter to me, neither here nor there, because I've been in this work since really 2007, okay, since my first son was born. And I was exclusively pumping and looking for support to be able to try and find someone who could help me to be able to breastfeed my baby exclusively, latch on and breastfeed, not just pump my milk, okay? And through the support that I found, I was able to do that. You can read about it in my book, Latch the Gap. So, moving on, I had to pray about this for about 30 days because I really didn't know how to approach it. I really didn't know what was going to be the determining factor as far as trying to support families online, but also share stories, and wasn't getting a lot of traction. And so I started to see that I could run ads on Facebook. And so I did. I started running ads. And interestingly enough, our advertising reach went up, but then our organic reach also shot up too. And I was new to this space of, social media marketing because I was a photographer, but I was like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this message across. And so I ran ads for about a month and saw that it was incredibly impactful because we had gained our first 1,000 followers within that first 30 days. And, messaging is key. And I'll get to this in a minute, but I just want to highlight the fact that when we did our survey back in 2020, our impact survey, and asked moms, how did this help you to be able to discover kind of your place in this journey? They said, we were asking about their race. We were asking about, who we were serving because we wanted to know our population, right? And out of 255 moms, a good 53% of the people who responded were women of color. And it makes a difference because if these are the women who have the lowest disparity rates, and we create a campaign, a photo project that speaks to them specifically, then that therefore will encourage the message to help them to see how important breastfeeding is, and to see that someone who looks like them, who comes from the same type of community, will actually be there to guide them. And so one thing that I can really say is that although I don't believe that race matters, and I'll tell you why, because I grew up literally as the only black child in all of my school classes since I was in preschool. Like, I have photos to prove that I was literally the only black child. So it's not about race, okay? It's about the statistical data, and it's about the fact that I refuse to be a statistic, and I would rather use my story to help other women of color not be a statistic too. Because they don't have to die because the marketing doesn't show that their community does this, right? So, yeah, I'm really passionate about that. It's not the race specifically. I think it's being called out for focusing on color. That's the thing that I think kind of is like, what? Like, no, definitely not focusing on color, but definitely prioritizing our marketing messaging around women of color because of the disparity rates. So, carrying on, I started to see that as I was starting to build and grow and looking for moms to take pictures of here in San Diego, I really felt like, okay, this is a good thing. Like, we're getting a lot of different types of looking people. But then I started to see that there really wasn't diversity in the imagery. Like, this is San Diego, right? Like, it's sunny all the time. Like, it's gorgeous all the time. And I wanted to show what breastfeeding would look like in the rain, in the snow, in colder areas of the country. And so we eventually, after the first year, we launched the Normalize Breastfeeding Tour and the International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding, which was yesterday. If you didn't know about it, it's the third Saturday in August every year. So definitely celebrate with us virtually. But I launched the tour because I knew that if we could show diversity as far as across the country, that would help more moms in general here in America to feel comfortable breastfeeding their babies, not just in public, but just in general. Like, the rate of breastfeeding initiation, which is the number of people who actually initiate breastfeeding in the hospital after they have a baby, is high. It's like 90 in the 90s percentile. So if that rate is so high when they start, that means that they want to breastfeed, that they want to feed their baby this way, right? So tell me why the duration rate, which is women who continue to breastfeed after 3 months, 6 months, well, let's start with 1 month, right? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, that rate goes down every single week, every single month. And your health is tied to your ability to breastfeed when you're a baby, your long-term health, not just for the baby, but also for the mom. A lot of people don't know this. So your ability to have a high immune system, your ability to fight obesity, your ability to be able to avoid asthma and different types of like SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. All of that is tied to breastfeeding. If you have not asked your mom yet, in the comments and whoever's watching, go your breastfeeding journey, because it will tell you a lot about it. And I think that's the thing that people are missing, is this is not just your health, your long-term health, and knowing how long you breastfed and how you were fed matters. It matters to your long-term health. And when you look at your health circumstances, whether you are fighting obesity, whether you are dealing or allergies and things like that, just having a simple conversation with your mom about how you were fed as a baby will tell you a whole lot. And so after we did the Normalize Breastfeeding tour and launched the International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding, it was like a huge accomplishment, right? And the tour lasted for 2 years. But the thing about it is that even though the tour lasted, I personally also breastfeeding my baby, with my son, our son. I don't like saying mine because it takes two. It takes two, y'all. But when I was traveling with our son, he was latching on before and after the photo shoots. He was right there. He was making, breast friends. And we were able to establish a bond while I was working, which was completely different how it was with either of my other babies, because I was going back to work or going back to school, which really caused an interrupt in the lifestyle, right? Like, breastfeeding is a lifestyle. It's not just breastfeeding. Okay, so you're breastfeeding and you're doing all these other things. No, it's like, if you choose to breastfeed your baby, there are some mindset shifts. There are some things you understand about life that will change because you are your baby's primary source of food. And so I want to touch on the fact that in our study, in our survey in 2020, the 2020 Impact Survey, we discovered that, I want to say it was, actually, all of the moms had the opportunity to share their stories. And as they shared their stories, they were able to tell us exactly how they felt about their nursing relationship and how the normalized breastfeeding movement impacted it. And look, all of them, literally all of them, said that it was inspiring, that it was encouraging, and that it motivated them to support other moms. That's peer-to-peer support. That's standing in the gap for another mom who might be struggling because you have prior experience, even if it's only a few days more than another mom, right? And that is how you build community. So not only did they say these things, but they also said that they believed that if they were not able to reach their feeding goals, that they would be all right. And I think that is so key to this movement, because a lot of people think breastfeeding is all about making milk, and it's not. Breastfeeding is about your belief in your ability to breastfeed and to be able to make the milk and to be able to sustain your child's life and to be able to create that sustainability, right? Because making milk is not an easy process. Yes, you latch your baby on, but you also have to avoid stressful situations, right? You also have to keep your head in the right space where you can focus on, this is the best thing for my baby and for me, right? And so I think that it's very important that we focus on that as we continue to build community and continue to advocate for families, that we focus on the fact that belief is a huge part of this. And it's not just belief in being able to make milk, right? It's belief in yourself. Belief in yourself is, I think, the number one thing that a lot of moms get from this. Because all of these moms, after talking about how they were able to achieve their goals, have gone on to do amazing things. Why? Because they learned how to set goals through breastfeeding. And when you're able to achieve small goals like hitting 2 weeks breastfeeding, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, going on even to 2 years, which is the World Health Organization recommendation, those small achievements, those small goals help you get to a bigger goal, which is realizing that you are capable. And that comes from the foundation of belief. And so it's more than just making milk. It's more about discovering yourself, the woman you've become after giving birth, and the woman who is capable of creating this sustainability and safe space for her child, right? So I don't know, I really wanted to jump on and share that today because it's interesting. I had a mentor who told me, but your beliefs don't matter in this space. Like, sharing your beliefs don't matter. And I have to say that that's wrong. And I learned that from this study of working with these moms and realizing that their belief mattered. Their belief in themselves, their belief in God, their belief in the fact that they were able to make milk, all of it mattered. And I now am really a witness to that because, listen, I was able to exclusively pump for 9 weeks until I was able to latch my baby on with the right support. And then we exclusively breastfed for six months total. So 3 months, about 2 months on the pump, and then another 4 months exclusively nursing directly from the breast. That in itself is a huge accomplishment. It's a huge goal to achieve. And it has really made me a better person because I was able to look at myself and say, okay, this is hard, this is exhausting, but if I just push through one more day, I can get to my goal of 6 months. And then when I had our daughter, I was able to get to 11 months. I didn't have a lot of support in that regard because I wasn't in any support groups because I was going to school, and I wasn't pumping my milk at school while I was there because I wasn't in the support groups, right? But I still believed that I could breastfeed our daughter. And so I felt like this was tied to my belief. And as I breastfed her, we hit a nursing strike, and she ended up not continuing to nurse because I thought she had weaned. So I just started giving her formula because I thought that's what everybody does, right? But I didn't have the support system to know that it actually is a nursing strike, and if I just continue to offer the breast, that she will come back to the breast. So we weaned at 11 months. But right before I launched the Normalize Breastfeeding movement, I was pregnant with our son, our third child. And we launched when he was a baby, when he was born, and he changed everything. That boy would not take a bottle for nothing. He would not take any formula. We tried to go on a date night, I remember. And my mom sat there for 2 hours trying to give him a bottle, and he absolutely refused. And that was when I learned, like, oh, this is not going to be like the other children. I'm really going to have to keep him around so I can make sure he gets fed. And I think his stubbornness around his milk and his desire to be with me is what encouraged me to keep him with me when I went on tour. But it was the belief that I had, the belief that if I just focus on the fact that he has the desire to nurse, then both of us are going to get these benefits, right? He's going to get the benefit for long-term health, and I'm going to get the benefit of not having any, avoiding breast cancer, avoiding postpartum depression, avoiding maternal death. Like, there's so many things, so many benefits. And I think In the moment, it's easy to feel like, oh, let me just pop a bottle in my baby's mouth. I know because I've been there. I formula fed 2 of our children. But with this last one, it taught me that if I was willing to shift my mindset, if I was willing to change the way I thought it was supposed to work and listen to my baby and listen to his needs, that we could have a completely different relationship. And we do to this day. The bond is super strong, right? So, I'm going up this hill, y'all. So, I don't know. I had to come on here because I think it's important that we talk about how belief of self and belief of your ability can make or break your breastfeeding relationship. And if you focus on the fact that you are able, that you are capable, and that even if you just do it for one more day, that will help increase your health benefits, then that'll get you there. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. I appreciate y'all. I think I'm going to do these morning walks more often on live. I'm trying to be more consistent in posting. So if you see our videos, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff on YouTube. And I've been in the studio recording the podcast for the last couple of weeks. So we have new episodes coming out. And I'm really excited about that. The podcast has been going since 2015. So I'm really excited to put these new episodes out. It's not been the focus of the movement for a long time because I was doing so much with photography. But now that I'm homeschooling, the podcast is where it's at. So definitely subscribe. You can watch it here on YouTube or you can listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So yeah, if y'all got anything, any other type of content that you want to see me create, leave a message in the comments and I will look over it, review it, and see if that's something that we can put together. And I will see y'all soon. Y'all take care. Bye.